and frosty damp. The thin, armed creature stepped cautiously out of the shadow of a rock and blinked. 10 paces ahead, the shimmering made everything on the far side appear hazy. The same as always. The nameless creature sent a long green tongue over the skin of its dog-like face, revealing needle-sharp teeth. With 2 of its 16 fingers, it explored the short dark fur under the dirty armor, scratched itself, and yawned. It adjusted the armor that was pressing uncomfortably on its balls. It gave a sigh of relief, and then another yawn. On the orders of the strongest one, it had to keep watch from dawn to dusk and immediately report any changes to the quivering vibrations in the air. It was a boring task. Thankless and boring. After a while, it picked up and ate a yellow beetle emerging from under a mouldering thigh bone on the ground. As it chewed, it occurred to the creature that not one of the hundreds of its own kind could remember a time when the air had not shimmered. It grunted and kicked at the black wall of rock, then strolled up to the edge, trailing an overlong sword. As the rusty brown metal blade scraped against the rock floor, it collected yet more dents and notches. The creature sat down on the ground next to the shimmering. Yawning, it picked up a pebble and idly chucked it. The air hissed and flashed, for a second turning opaque like murky water and stopping the pebble's flight. The little stone bounced back and landed at the tip of the creature's boots. Another sigh. This was a ritual that never, ever changed. It was obvious why the pebbles were being chucked. They did not disappear straight away when they met the shimmering. There had been times when the invisible barrier had simply been an indestructible wall. It would hurt if you ran into it, but nothing else happened. Then, all of a sudden, the wall would destroy whatever touched it. There'd be a crackling flash, and you'd be drenched in fire and burned to a fine cinder ash that blew away in the wind. But for about 7 world ages now, the wall had been taking quite a long time to actually kill you. If you were quick and tore yourself back off it, you'd get away with a burn. On the other side, the creature could pick out a strange vertical structure composed of metal rings. When the sun stood high, there'd be a bright light in the center. Every so often a few small, chunky 2-leggers could be seen going up to the rings, walking around and then disappearing again. You could just see strong high walls with colourful flags atop square towers. But the shimmering made everything indistinct. The towers were quite a way off. If it tried very hard, the creature could make out 2-leggers walking to and fro on the battlements. They looked different from the ones that marched round inspecting the interlocking iron rings. Bet their job was just as boring, and would remain so until sometime in the future the air no longer made waves like on a hot summer's day. That was the moment the strongest one had been waiting for, along with so many others, big and small, 2-leggers and many-leggers, screech phantoms and soul-rippers alike, and the Caudrian, of course. Even the strongest one was afraid of the Caudrian. The flying horror was obeyed by all. When the shimmering stopped, a new empire would open up. The strongest one had told them. There'd be delicious fresh meat and rich pickings for all. The strongest one before the strongest one had promised that as well. And the one before that, the strongest ever, had said the same. The creature didn't believe it any longer, but wasn't going to let on. You died soon enough if you stepped out of line. A single life was nothing. The strongest one had thousands of nameless foot soldiers at his beck and call. Another pebble was chucked half-heartedly. The large brown beetle crawling out of its rocky hiding place was really much more interesting. Moving swiftly, the creature grabbed the beetle, pulled off the poisonous mandibles, and sucked out the entrails, which tasted of rotten wanko berries. There was a lot of satisfied chewing.